are bold, you are fearless, you are radiant. It's time to unlock the diamond from within. BFF, we rise above, stronger together, we shine with love. Faith unshaken, hearts on fire, fearless souls, we're reaching high.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning back in to the Women on the Rise segment of the BFF Empowerment Podcast. So today I am joined by Miss Christiane Schroeter. She is a professor. She is also a best-selling author, a business coach, and she is also a podcaster herself on the Happy Healthy Hustle podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, I'm really excited to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
You're so welcome. And do you mind telling the listeners a little about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Dr. Christiane. I'm a professor here at the University in California. I earned my PhD at Purdue University in the Midwest. Then I worked for a couple of years in the South and moved here to California in 2007 while I was pregnant with my daughter. And that's been really an amazing journey. I have two children now. Work full time as a professor at the university teaching marketing, innovation, entrepreneurship. And I coach my clients, of course, with their business and making sure that they fulfill their dreams.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You're doing all of that as a mother?
Yeah, it's been really amazing. And I think it's great to be a role model for my daughters to really empower them and start their own business. So they have their own businesses now. They participated actually in a few children's entrepreneurs fairs, and it's been really great to see that they try different things and they fail with their little things and they thrive. And it's wonderful to kind of let them experience entrepreneurship at a small scale while they are still young.
Oh yeah, definitely. I do the same thing with my son. He's 6. And so
Okay.
because I'm an author, he's actually working on his first book.
Oh, good.
As a 6-year-old called Kindergarten Kid. So
Oh,
he's
that's good.
talking about his experience, in kindergarten.
Oh, great. I love that. Yeah, it's good to.
So I definitely feel like as parents, we be the
Yeah,
examples for our kids.
definitely, definitely. Yeah.
So how long have you been teaching?
I've been teaching since 20 years now this year. Yeah, it's been really great. My
Oh
20th
wow.
year teaching anniversary. Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time. And
Yeah.
what inspired you to particularly go into teaching business?
Well, I think that as a female, it's definitely important to kind of empower other females to go for their dreams and make money and feel like you're growing your dreams. And I think that many of us dream about having our own business in, it could be a physical store, it could be a digital store, anything like that. It's really, I think, part of the American dream to do that. And so by teaching business and by
Mhm.
teaching those tools, I really empower entrepreneurs and, of course, females to go for their dreams and start that and don't wait for it. Just start it and just don't think that there is a certain time that's better than another. Today is the best day.
Exactly, especially with entrepreneurship being something that, in the past has always been very male dominated. So it's good to actually see women, coming out and, being able to start their own businesses and being able to, just show that, it's not just males that can do this.
For sure. And I think that, especially, when it comes to leadership, that females, especially if they have multiple hats, they have children and they run their household, it actually makes them good leaders because they are empathetic about anybody else having those same issues. And it makes them also understand when there is maybe issues with regard to the employees. So I always love that. And I think that there is definitely a need for that to have females not sit around the outer skirts in the room, but rather at the table. There's a place for them at the table, and I
Mhm.
think that's very much needed.
Definitely. So with all that you do, how do you avoid burnout?
Well, I think that the habits, I have a trademark on a phrase that's called Petite Practice, which is
Mhm.
breaking down anything, whether that's business related or whether that's leisure time related or whether that's more mental health related. I break it down into small steps, small habits, and I weave them into my day. And I think that that particular petite practice, those small steps have really helped me to create more multifaceted approach to my life. Instead of just sitting at the desk for 8 hours, I put in little breaks and I go for a walk or I go
Mhm.
in between and I work out. And I think that that has have really helped me prevent burnout because I create somewhat like a digression in my day. I take a break and I go away. And instead of thinking like, oh no, just this one more thing, just this one more thing, by taking that break, I actually become more productive because I give my eyes a break, I give my brain a break, and at the same time, I get the best ideas. They usually come when I'm away from my desk, not when I'm at my desk. And I think that
Mhm.
that's really how I prevented burnout, that I'm intentional with regard to creating a calendar that looks a little bit like a fruit salad. So it has
Mhm.
colors for different things that I do. And if I realize that my calendar is too dominated by, say, desk work, I make sure that I weave in a little bit of other activities that are not desk related. And I think that is my secret to preventing burnout.
Maybe I need to try that because I swear it's so hard to not get overwhelmed with all that I do. And sometimes I feel like I get anxiety. Because my brain is always racing. You gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta go get the kids, you gotta go this, it's just like how can one person do all of these things in one day? And I
Yeah, for
think for me,
sure.
I have the hardest time, I guess, like carving out that time specific to each activity that I need to get done. I think my brain just thinks I have to do it all like
Mm.
right now.
Yeah, I think that's very common in my clients, that feeling of being overwhelmed or stuck. The one thing that really helps is to kind of just each day only tackle three activities instead of 10. And if that,
Mhm.
if that's maybe feeling like I can't just do three things because I have so many things on my to-do list, I can honestly tell you by writing down 10 or 15 things on your daily to-do list, you're not going to do any
Mhm.
of those. And so you're not getting out of that feeling of overwhelm because you can't tick things off. So by tackling three and
Mhm.
finishing those three, and on the next day, maybe another three, you're actually seeing progress during the week. And I think another idea that really helps is that some of those things on the to-do list might not even need to get done, right? So it's
Mhm.
sometimes like a boundary that we just need to build and saying no and figuring out, are these things all essential and crucial and really moving the needle in my business? Because some of them might just not need to get done at all. And so you could take them off and just say, you know what, it's just not going to happen, right?
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I have found that I've tried doing the whole like making a checklist, like listing everything I need to do for that day. And then I'll find that I'll check things off as I get done. And then I'll look at the list like, wow, it doesn't look like I've done much.
No,
So then, yeah, it feels like you're not doing enough.
exactly. Yeah, that's very common.
So, yes. So you're a best-selling author. So what is your book about?
Yeah, so my best-selling book is called How to Master Your Goals, and it helps step by step in really creating a business that's going to be thriving. So I help you figuring out what your unique value proposition is and how you can build a business with regard to a brand, a tagline, your marketing, and then of course also with regard to your sales, right? So there's basically everything in there that helps you and master your goals and getting your business from the startup all the way to getting it going step by step. It uses my petite practice approach And I think the reason why it's so
Mhm.
successful is because that's really what's needed. It's not just a book you read from front to back, but it's a book you can open on any page and just jump in because it's packed with worksheets. It has some games in there, some puzzles, so it's fun. And I want to make it
Ooh.
fun because when you reach your goals, it should be really a
Mhm.
fun journey of empowerment and not just like some boring business plan writing. And
Yes.
that is really the key to anything in life. You got to have fun with it because otherwise it's
Mhm.
just chore. And so I don't want to make mastering your goals a chore. It should be something that's a celebration.
Mhm. And so you speak of your petite approach to things. So is that how you feel that you structured your book? Like so that instead of, readers having to just digest all these huge just chunks of information, you've broken them down into like smaller chunks that's easier, for them to digest and understand?
Correct. The book is structured into petite practices, and there's even a tracker, an interactive tracker, where you can tick things off as you
Mhm.
accomplish them. So the goal of the petite practice is also to celebrate wins. At the end of the day, to look back and
Mhm.
say, I have 3 wins that I'm really celebrating today. So I took 3 steps today, and I'm checking them off, and I'm feeling tomorrow I can do more of this. So that's really the goal of a petite practice. You don't have to accomplish a lot each day, just like small little steps, and you're going to see they accumulate to a lot over time.
Mhm. Okay. Do you have like an app or anything that you've created to go along with the book? Or something like a interactive, some kind of interactive like website or anything like that? I
Yeah, so
think that
I
would be a
I
really good.
have a quiz that I created. It's called Discover Your Superpower. And the quiz is just as fun as the book, where it leads you through different steps and you can figure out what your superpower is and where you're really amazing at. And then of course I have a power pack, which has some of these little tidbits. It's like a little appetizer plate of my book. And then I also have
Mhm.
podcasts that help you and discover your superpower and master your goals. So I call it the 3P pack, right? The podcast,
Mhm.
the power pack, and the personal quiz.
Gotcha. That was going to be my next question, and we were going to go on to the podcast. So tell us a
Mhm.
little bit more about the podcast and
Yeah,
how
the
long have you
podcast
been doing it?
2 years now, yeah. On the 23rd of March in 2023, I launched it. And it
Mhm.
quickly propelled to the top 2.5% within 3 months or so. And then within 6 months to the top 2%, and then to 1.5%. And now since more than a year, it's been the top 1% ranked globally among
Mhm.
3.5 million podcasts. And it's been a really amazing journey, and I absolutely love doing it.
Oh, wow. So with your podcast, so are you basically teaching listeners about your method, or are you talking about the book, or are you doing just a myriad of things, just different?
I have experts that share their insight about their business journeys, their superpowers, and then I've shared
Mhm.
myself. And like I try to really pack value in there. So each episode is under 30 minutes, and I try to make sure that it follows my petite practice approach. It's small, but it's fun, and at the same time, it's action.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. So where can someone who is interested in reading your book, where can they find it?
Yeah, the book is on Amazon. If you just type in my name, Dr. Christiane, it will come up,
Mhm.
the How to Master Your Goals. And by now I have actually 3 books that are on the Amazon storefront there. So I also have a planner that goes
Oh.
along with my book. It's called the Petite Practice Planner, super interactive. And then, of course, my
Mhm.
latest book was just released a couple of weeks ago. It's called Discover Your Superpower. And it's been absolutely amazing. My students love it. And that one also has interactive podcast and video episodes in it.
Mhm. And with your publishing your books, did you self-publish or are you traditionally published?
I self-published my books.
Okay. And what made you go that route over being traditionally published?
Well, I'm a business coach, right? And so looking at keeping my
Mhm.
independence and also keeping my finances in order, that was for me the best
Mhm.
idea instead of, going with a traditional publishing house and somewhat losing my identity in the book. I really wanted to have full control over how the book looks like, how it sounds. And at the end of the day, I thought I can
Mhm.
figure this out myself. And that's what I do with my podcast too. I basically do
Mhm.
everything on my own. And that's really what I teach my clients too. If you want to be running a business, start as your own boss and really figure out that you're comfortable with it. And then when you're ready for it, you can start to outsource different tasks. You need to let go of some of that control. But at the beginning, really figure out what is it that you want to do? What's your brand identity? What's your voice? And then when you're ready and
Mhm.
comfortable, then you can grow and you can scale.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's actually why I decided to go, self-publish because yeah, I didn't want to lose that control. I wanted to be able to publish when I wanted, however many books I wanted, instead of being tied down to a contract saying you have to write 3 books a year. And if you
Yes,
don't, then you lose the contract. You know,
correct.
I wanted
Correct.
to be able to do, yeah, and keep that control.
Correct. Yes.
And also, yeah, my creativity. I've heard a lot of things about, being traditionally published and how a lot of times, and I've noticed even with someone like my favorite authors, like reading their books, a lot of the books sound the same. The characters may be
Mhm.
different, the, state or, it may be a little bit different, but for the most part, it's the same story.
Correct.
And because they have to abide by what their contract says, they have to write the book how the publisher wants it, not how they want it.
Correct. Yeah, I didn't want to do that. Yeah.
Okay, so what advice would you give a young, either fresh out of high school, fresh out of college, young person who is interested in pursuing a small business?
I would say that the best advice would be, try to keep your cost as minimal as possible at the beginning. There are a lot of things that sound like you need them, but at the end of the day, there's so much you can do in just bootstrapping things and asking around maybe if somebody has something that you can use for a few days before you invest in getting a lot of inventory at home and really try to see it because
Hmm.
sometimes there are some things that you might absolutely love, and then you might need to purchase something, but there might be some things that you realize you really don't need in your business. And it's not smart at the beginning to spend a lot of money and really getting into so much debt before you get your business off the ground. So I think the most important thing at the
Exactly.
beginning is just really feeling you have some visibility, some presence, and
Hmm.
then really like building momentum and going from there before you really feel you need to be everywhere all at once. Just become comfortable with what you really want to do and who you really are, and then growing from there. That's my best piece of advice.
Okay. And when it comes to a business plan, what do you feel like is it necessary? Are there different business plans that fit certain business types? What do you feel as far as a business plan go? Is it really necessary?
Well, I think that writing a traditional business plan might be somewhat outdated. At the same time, it's good to write down your
Hmm.
goals.
There's so many
Probably,
different kinds. Yes.
yeah, maybe writing down your goals would be good and really figuring out like the three things you want to accomplish. What is it that you stand for? What's the problem you're solving? And who's your ideal client? I think those are like the non-negotiables. Everything else
Hmm.
is probably something that, like writing like 100-page business plan, I would definitely say no to. I think that if you create like, some interactive Google Docs that you keep updated and talking
Hmm.
to your audience is really invaluable. Going out and sharing what you are doing and then
Hmm.
updating your Google Doc is something that I would recommend all of my clients.
Hmm. And so with you doing so much, do you do public speaking as well?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a keynote speaker as well.
Mhm. And so you speak on like just the business and how to start businesses, or just more in depth? I know you did say that you do help people who are already in business kind of upscale their business.
hmm Yeah, it's usually really figuring out the mindset about how to get things done. Kind of following along with my books, the How to Master Your Goals or How to Discover Your Superpower. That's usually my
Mm-hmm.
keynote speaking talks that I'm
Mm-hmm.
helping people that feel overwhelmed or that feel stuck to get out of there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how do you, what advice would you give someone who is looking for financial backing when it comes to their business? Like, what if they've already done their business plan? They did like a 1 or 2 page business plan.
Mhm.
They have this idea. Now they want to see how can they make this business come true or come to fruition. What kind of financing, if they are not able to do it themselves, like, get the funds together, what
Mm.
financial options are available?
Well, I think that sometimes you just need to look around in your community. There might be a small business center you could tap into. There might be some special funding resources for women or for, special minority groups. And I think that's my best piece of advice. So don't like look just on Google, but rather really look in your
Mm-hmm.
community because the community is usually the best place to get started because you can talk to people in action in person and there might be some grants out there, some opportunities, some other business owners that would be happy to share advice at no cost, maybe even or at low cost,
Mm-hmm.
and help you get off the ground.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, I mean, in general, I always encourage people reach out if you have any questions for me. I know that it's sometimes overwhelming
Mm-hmm.
with your business, and there are definitely moments when it just helps to talk to somebody else. And I'm always here. Reach out and look at my website, Dr. Christiana. Reach out by Instagram, Dr.Christiana, or check out my podcast, Happy Healthy Hustle. And I would love to help you and answer any other questions that you might have.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Would you like to leave any of your contact information, website, anything like that for listeners to reach out to you?
Oh, I would love to. If you could put that in the show notes, that would be absolutely amazing. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, I definitely will. And so now we've come to the end where I like to do my little segment called What is She Thinking? Where I give you a phrase and you just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind, no matter what it is. Don't have to
Awesome.
think too hard about it. It's just
What is she thinking? What are her thoughts? Quick, fast, no blinking. What do you got?
something fun. All right, so my first phrase is, here we go, the sun is shining.
Yes. The sun is shining and I hear the wind outside and I'm feeling spring is coming.
All right, okay. Um, the kitchen table is,
Our place to have dinner and catch up on the day and what's happening
okay. Don't mess
with my desk because it's really my sanctuary in terms of productivity haven.
Okay. You might be making a steak if
Can you repeat that, please? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
you might
You
be making a mistake if you.
Oh, if you assume that it's it's easy for me to work out every day, I definitely have days when I'm feeling it's a little bit harder than on others, but I never be good at working
Mhm.
out. So it's sometimes just getting there and start it.
Yes, ma'am. Jelly donuts.
What was it, please?
Jelly donuts.
Jelly donuts. My children love those.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It was really good just hearing and getting to hear you talk about business and all the different things that you do and how you
Thank
prevent
you.
burnout, because I definitely I need some of that.
Thank you so much. That was really fun. I really appreciate it. And we'll be in
No,
touch in Podmatch.
yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Have a wonderful
Thank
rest
you,
of the
everyone,
day.
for tuning in to another episode of the BFF Empowerment Podcast. Don't forget to follow the podcast on all major platforms. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media at BFF Empowerment Podcast on Facebook. We're on Instagram at BFF Empowerment Podcast. We're on Threads as BFF Empowerment Podcast, and also now on YouTube at BFF Empowerment Podcast. And also check out our website at bffempowermentpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. See you next time.